Liberal Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault overspent on his flight to the climate change conference by about $9,000. But friends, it's a small price to pay when you're trying to save the world from greenhouse gas-induced catastrophe, one luxury flight at a time. I think by now many regular viewers know that I love to pick apart the expense claims of politicians, particularly the kind who are climate alarmists. I like to look at their expenses because it often exposes their extreme hypocrisy. These are almost always the people who say that your comfortable SUV is spelling the end of humanity as we know it. They're also the same people who openly muse about climate lockdowns now that we've all done the whole dress rehearsal thing of COVID lockdowns.
Taking what we learned about dealing with the pandemic and applying it to stepping up even further on the fight against climate change.
So anyway, I pick apart their expense claims because these are also the very same people jet-setting around the world, ironically, to climate change conferences to complain about normal people who may use fossil fuels frivolously. They're also the same people who say that fossil fuels need to be more expensive for the normal common person to use.
You wish provinces were not reducing their gas taxes.
Exactly. There are other things that provinces could do to both help customers face inflation as well as fighting climate change. They're just going for the easy solution.
While those same normal common people, they're the ones covering off the expense accounts for these fancy people to use fossil fuels frivolously. And they're always the ones telling us to just go buy a Tesla. But if you look at their expense accounts and their own personal vehicles that they charge back to the taxpayer, the cars are almost never small, and they're almost always internal combustion. But besides the extreme hypocrisy, I just like to see how careless and entitled these people are with your family's tax dollars while the rest of us are living under the greatest inflation rate in modern history. For example, I have Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault's flights to the latest climate change conference hosted last November in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, besides the fact that the whole conference could have been, I don't know, a couple of emails and maybe a Zoom meeting if these fear merchants truly believed that the world was going to end due to the use of life-changing, life-saving fossil fuels. But they're just blowing your money without even trying to save a penny of it. I drilled down on Stephen Guilbeault's flight expenses. In all, to send this fella to the UN climate change conference, it cost the taxpayer $22,000. His flights account for about half of that. $10,500 and another $700. Now, I just took a peek on Kayak right now, but you can do this for yourself at home just to prove a point. Look at your favorite flight website. Plug in Montreal to Glasgow and see what you get. Now, this morning, it's Wednesday, and you can get a flight on absolutely short notice, no notice at all, for somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500 return. And again, I say that's accounting for short notice flights. They plan these climate change conferences a year in advance, which makes buying your flight a little more reasonable if you care about those sorts of things. And I'm pretty sure the Liberals just don't. Anyway, I know in the grand scheme of the $1 trillion that we have in debt right now, this doesn't seem like a lot, $9,000 for an extra single flight. But it's the disrespect for the taxpayer that really gets to me. As they say, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. But in this case, only the Liberals are taking care of themselves. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. Getting access to these sorts of documents and then going through them can cost money and it's very time consuming. We do have a researcher who helps us, but we rely completely on the support of our viewers at home to do this sort of work. We don't take a penny from Justin Trudeau, and we never would. If you'd like to help offset our research costs, we've got a special fund to do it where you can contribute. It's rebelinvestigates.com. And thank you in advance to everybody who continues to donate to make this important accountability work possible.